Hey guys, welcome to today's podcast episode. Today we're joined with Lauren Dexter. Lauren is someone that, just as a mini introduction on my side, is someone I've always seen like managing a lot, going for like a lot of stuff. So like if anyone's really good at like um going through the chaos of everything and like managing over well, managing like loads of tasks and like excelling at all of them, I think it'd be an amazing episode. Lauren, for people that don't know too much about who you are, what you do, like could you give us a quick intro?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I I love that. Manage it well. I don't know if I manage it, but I get through it. I just take each day as it comes, and I do my best. But yeah, I'm Lauren. I am a bodybuilder, so I've just competed, wrapped up my 6 years in bikini, and transitioning to the wellness category now. So yeah, that's exciting. But I do like I like to describe myself as an athlete. Um, and then alongside that, I've become an online coach as well. Over how long have I been coaching now? I think it's been like, I want to say 5 years, and then 3 to 4 running my own business. And that's been a whirlwind, a journey, and I'm sure we'll get into it, Carmen. But like my niche and everything has changed so much from when I first started to like where I am now. Um, but with my coaching, just a little bit of a background with that. I started off with ladies that were struggling with eating disorders, not really getting a lot of help. My background was with anorexia, had anorexia from the age of 12. So it kind of made sense, how they say like your niche is the past version of you. So I was like, oh well, that makes sense. And then I realized actually, even though I could help to a degree, I wasn't really finding a lot of fulfillment in it because it was quite draining constantly. Like I wasn't a therapist, and I had to, these were ladies that in their past were struggling with, struggle with their eating disorders in their past, but had kind of recovered with it, but were looking for more and like more support with their training and nutrition. I still have ladies on the team now that have struggled in the past with eating disorders, but not quite so as much. And then it kind of transformed and transitioned, sorry, into more like lifestyle along the way. And then I realized to myself, I've never been a lifestyle client. I've never been that way. So I find it quite difficult to coach lifestyle because I have no patience with lifestyle clients. I've always been a bit of a hardcore athlete. So it was last year. I actually went to Portugal. You know Ben Mark, don't you, Carmen? It was with Ben Mark and the Identity Unlocked team. And I stood there and he was like, well, who's your niche? And I was like, well, I'd love to go down the bodybuilding road, but I don't know because I've only really been in it 5, 6 years. And between him and my own coach now that preps me for my shows and everything, Josh McHale, they were like, well, you've been doing this for 6 years. You've got a sport and exercise science degree. You've been coaching for nearly five. Like, what more would you like qualifications wise? So I was like, okay, let's do this. And I was a bit terrified at first making that jump because I thought, oh, there's just so many people that are in the coaching industry now in the bodybuilding world. Like, surely there is another one. And yes, it's been going pretty good so far since we've made that transition. Everyone on the team that is competing, it's just phenomenal to work with. And this is just the start, really. So I'm excited to see where we go from here. But that's a little bit of an introduction to me, I guess. Sorry, I go off on little
Yeah,
tangents.
that's brilliant. So I guess from that, like one thing that came up from that perspective as well was, do you think there was a little bit of potentially like maybe imposter syndrome at the start in terms
Oh,
of
definitely. Yeah, there was definitely imposter syndrome at the start. Um, because I think in my mind, I was like, it's one thing having the knowledge, it's another thing applying it. So, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but that doesn't mean that you're a good coach. So I kind of like came out of that thinking, okay, I like came out of university knowing that I had a lot of knowledge, but I was like, how the hell do you coach people? So even with lifestyle, like I suffered with imposter syndrome. Then like with the bodybuilding side, it's like, oh, but I don't know if I'm like good enough to like coach at like that level because there were still things like lifestyle wasn't really working out for me. Like it was working, but it wasn't great in my opinion. Like it wasn't really to the point where like you said at the beginning, I was doing HR. and I was coaching lifestyle. And then I thought, oh, can I swear, Plowman, before
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forget?
all good, all good.
I just need to check these things. I was like, yeah, fuck that. Like, there's no way. It got to a point where I was just too much. I thought, right, if you're going to do it properly. So I jumped in with 2 feet with the bodybuilding side. And I think if I'm to like teach anyone anything like listening to this, like you've got to, life is too short and you've got to kind of coach people that you know that you are going to enjoy coaching. I'm sure you've heard that from so many other people, but like if there's a niche or like something specific you want to kind of go into and tap into, like just do it. You'll work it out as you go along. And I think because you enjoy it more and enjoy those people, you put more into it. And I think I've really, really become the best coach over the past like definitely over the past 6 months for sure, since I took the leap from leaving HR. Because I was like, okay, well, we're in this now. And I want to give my all to these ladies. I want to see them win. Um, so yeah, that's where we're at now. But definitely there was imposter syndrome at the start, 100%.
And who is it you work with now?
In terms of like clients,
Yeah, like
yeah.
who do you look for? Yeah.
Yeah, so at the minute, I mean, we've got an array of female bodybuilding athletes. So I've got from bikini, wellness, and a figure girl at the moment. And again, like this is just the start. It ranges from different federations as well. So IFBB, NPC, and then PCA at the moment. Um, but I think with where I'm at the moment, how much like there's just so much passion there, like crazy amounts of passion. I really love it. It like to put things into perspective, when I do their check-ins, is it bad that I kind of like put? I really hope my clients aren't listening to this, but like I will put a lot of my ladies that are competing. I mean, there's a reason why, because some of them are literally a few days away from stepping on stage. So of course I need to kind of it's first thing in the morning get out to them the changes. But like I do get more fulfillment out of doing their check-ins compared to a lifestyle client. That it's almost like a rinse and repeat of the week before because they've perhaps not taken action on something. But what I will say is when it comes to bodybuilding, it's not just the ones that go and step on stage. Like I also, for some of my lifestyle ladies, like I will say to them, like you can still do bodybuilding, just not the stepping on stage bit. So, and again, I love coaching those ladies. It's more when I say like lifestyle clients drive me crazy, it's the ones that come into this and they don't really it's like you can lead a horse to water but you can't make them drink. So yeah, that's the I'm sure we've all had them, like everyone that's listening to this as coaches. I'm sure you've experienced it many times. But no, that's who I'm working with at the moment. There seems to be more ladies coming onto the team that are competing, so that's exciting, and we'll see where we go from here. At the minute, it's predominantly women, but I do tend to I do end up getting a few of my ladies like partners that inquire about coaching, and then I'll take them on because I'd rather them get the advice that I know and the support that I know than going somewhere else and perhaps wasting their time and money. So yeah, who knows? Unbreakable could be taking on male clients or more of them to
Yeah,
compete. We'll see.
amazing. And I guess so the journey you been thinking about going towards targeting those people or like going towards finding those people and working with us more. You go to Portugal and was that the kind of like light bulb moment in terms of I'll change it. Okay. How do you then go from like I'm wondering if there's like from a practicality standpoint if there's a coach listening to this and like I kind of want to work with like someone else now, like what was the you come back from Portugal, did you just like change the content right away or was it more gradual? Like what kind of processes or thought process do you run to change that, to make that change?
Do you know what? I really like that question because it actually applies to now as well. Because when I was actually in Portugal, so it was a conversation of yes to the bodybuilding and taking on bodybuilding clients, but it was also still taking on lifestyle, but just going about it in a different way. So before Portugal, I was kind of going for generic, like female fitness. And then I had business mentors that were convincing me because I was in HR, they were like, oh, busy working professional. So I started trying to do that. And how many coaches are there that weren't fucking busy working professionals? It's ridiculous. Hated it so much. It literally drove me insane. Because I knew I didn't want to be in that job. I knew I didn't want to be in HR. And I was basically trying to market myself to be a coach that could help women like that because I was one myself. But deep down, I knew I didn't want to be in HR. So I was kind of like, but I'm not that. And I don't. So I found it hard to make content about that. Still had clients. I was still making a living off of coaching, but I didn't like it. I didn't feel like it was me. So we kind of transferred more into like, okay, I lead women, but I'm helping them in a sense of like them becoming unbreakable. So everything that I've been through in my past through like anorexia, there's been a lot of other shitty trauma. We won't get into that. um, but yeah, there's a heck of a lot of stuff that I've learned, gone through in my 24 years of living. Um, but yeah, then Mark just stood me in front of a mirror because I had no idea what I wanted to call this thing. Like I didn't know. And he was like, well, what are you? And I went, well, I guess I'm unbreakable because I just kind of like bounce back. Like, I just get hit with shit day after day. Like year after year, there's something. And just keep going. So I was like, I guess I'm unbreakable. And he's like, there you go. So I've run with that name and I will continue to run with that name because of the meaning behind it. The women that are coached by me now, like even with competing, all resonate with that. So I love that. But even now, recently, I've decided, and I think I actually messaged you. I think it might have been you. Well, I mean, you've heard it from me many times. I'll have a call with a potential lifestyle client, and I'll message you, but like, well, that was the like biggest 40 minutes of my life just fucking wasted. Like, I'd rather stab myself in the eye, like than ever do that again. So, because I'd never really enjoyed those calls, and I never really, I'm trying to make the content because I've never ever ever been a lifestyle client. Like I came out of anorexia because I was in a wheelchair with it in an awful time of my life. And as soon as I got out of that wheelchair and I got myself better, it was actually being an athlete that inspired me to do that. So I've been an athlete ever since I remember, really. And so I've never really connected with lifestyle clients. Like if they come to me and they moan about something, I'm like, it's not a big deal. Why are you making a big deal out of it? And then I can't empathize with them. So yeah, it just kind of turned into like I knew within myself I needed to work with athletes. And then it was like, okay, right, you're gonna have to put trust in yourself that it is going to be with bodybuilders. It is going to be with women that want to compete. Just trust it and lean into it. And what I've found is that there's like less resistance now with content. So let's say, for example, I'm having a day where I've been a little bit unorganized, like, oh gosh, Plymouth is like, I know he's gonna laugh when I tell him how prep and everything, and I was like, I'm still here, but it's a little bit wild at the moment. If I was unorganized and not had anything ready to post, because I live this shit every single day, being a business owner, being a coach, being an athlete, it was quite easy to just rustle up something, just get something out there. And like someone would resonate with it. And I ended up gaining clients just off the back of documenting my prep, you know? Because like for me that was easy to do. I didn't really have to think about it too much. And now that's how I know that even though if things are a little bit slow here and there, I know moving forward, like I'm just being myself now. I'm stepping into that. I'm enjoying it. And like I said at the beginning, like this is just the start. So I think to any coaches listening to this, if there's a way of I think really look at your lifestyle and think about what you do on the daily. How could you maybe put that into content and be documenting that? And just to make it easy for yourself. Like I recently started YouTube as well, and I forever procrastinated on that because I thought I'd have to put on this like show. So I can't be art like who? Let's be real. Who's got the fucking energy to do that? No one. I mean, there's some people out there that do, and I mean, it's only a matter of time before they burn out because you can't. And ever since I've really stepped into enjoying being a bodybuilder more, like really fully embracing that and giving myself permission to, YouTube's easy. I just go on there and I just start chatting shit. I'm like, this is my day. Follow me if you want. If you don't, fuck off. It's fine. Like, I'm not offended. Like, whatever. You might think I'm absolutely mad. You might think I'm crazy. I'm going into wellness, so you bet I'm gonna have dinosaur legs soon. Like, people might look at that and think, ugh, like, why is this girl trying to get bigger? But I don't care because I love it. Like, I love it. And my niche will respect that, follow that, love that, and be like, yeah, I want to get bigger as well. Like, I want to go into bodybuilding, or like, where do I start? How do I, or even ladies that are already competing but want to come on this journey with me as a coach, and they'll see that, they'll be like, yeah, they'll resonate with you. And I think my best advice is definitely like just having a bit of a look at like your current life and thinking, how could I put that out there? Make this as easy as possible, just truly being authentically myself. And then, I think that's when you find out who your niche is, and also it helps you with that transition, because I think it's so easy to, like I said with the YouTube, it's so easy to overthink it and then you procrastinate on it and you don't do it. I was doing that for ages and I wasted so much time doing that. Whereas now, like, I'm so excited for the next few months because it's like, okay, I'm actually like embracing this now. So yeah, Plamen and Lauren and the VAs, like, you just gotta get ready for all the messages. I hope
Exciting,
anyway. We'll
exciting
see.
times. Did you have like an element of like I know myself, I know like times I've posted content, I've been like, oh, like people are gonna like. I guess most people, I think actually, I said that to some extent, they'd be like, I'll post content, but what if like people judge me or like people I know or like or people from school, whoever. Um, was you ever like, did you have that fear or did you, in terms of posting your authentic self?
Oh yeah, yeah. So to put it into, yeah, definitely. Like, it was only, so it was actually, this is how I met Ben Mark. So here's the funny story of how I met Ben Mark. He messaged me and said, "Why do you use filters on everything? Like, you use filters on everything." It's like, I don't mean to be rude, but you look fucking awful. Like, you look orange, like, because of putting filters on everything. But I didn't know. And the thing is, like, I was in a relationship for I think it was like 6 years, 5, 6 years. Um, that broke down beginning of last year, and I shouldn't have been in that relationship, and like being in that relationship, it was really holding me back in terms of just like I completely lost my sense of like self-worth. Felt that I kind of, that person was very insecure about their self, and kind of put that onto me a little bit, the saying where like you become, is it like you become something of like the five people around you or something like that. Completely butchered that saying, but anyway, you become a percentage of like the five people around you or something like that. And obviously I was in this person's presence nearly every day, so I ended up kind of getting very insecure about myself, and it just, yeah, it was not a good end of a relationship. But anyway, we will not get into that. But I completely just was like, well, I got to keep posting and I got to keep doing stuff, even though I felt all of this inside, and I felt completely, I had imposter syndrome. I didn't feel good enough. Um, I would pick on myself literally every single day. So I just thought, well, let's just put a filter on my face so that I like it a little bit more. And then I would, like, honestly, I've gone back and deleted a lot of my content 'cause it makes me cringe. I would be putting on this. I used to think I had a really deep voice, so I put on this really high, like, girly voice, like, to try and do, like, content, to try and be a bit like an influencer. So why the fuck are you doing that? Like, honestly, it was horrible. Um, so I really wasn't being myself at all for a long time. Again, I still had clients. I was stuck at 10 for a while. It didn't go up and didn't go down, but like, it wasn't going up. And obviously we all want business to grow. Um, so I definitely was pretending like I was putting on a show, but I didn't really realize it until I was kind of, then Mark put the mirror in front of me and literally physically put a mirror in front of me and showed me what was going on. And it's only really been this past year that I've truly, truly been myself. Because again, with that relationship I was in, it was kind of like, you can enjoy bodybuilding, but not too much. So I kind of suppressed myself, was staying in bikini and genetically I should be in wellness because I hold a lot of muscle in my legs and glutes. So I kind of like, well, best stay in bikini because I need to stay small. You know, I can't be too big. I need to stay small, and I need to, um, like yeah, just don't enjoy it too much because that's not attractive, or like people won't like that, or you need to have balance from all this. And it's really only been this year where I thought, fuck that, bodybuilding's my life and I don't care. And if you're not on board with that, again, and it's just like it doesn't matter because you're not in my circle, you know. Um, so I think my best advice there, like if that is something that you're struggling with, is understand like even if no one supports you, with what you're doing or the way you are as a person, you will meet is it like your vibe will attract your tribe? Cheesy saying, but an element of it is true, right? Because I've definitely this year like found my tribe, like found my people, and anyone outside of that has something to say about it, I'm like, well, you're not in it, so whatever, like, it doesn't matter. Um, so, and I think when you are more that way, that's when you gain, again, better business, more clients, but like people you actually want to work with, because funny enough, their energy will probably match. Like, I'm as mad as a box of frogs, and so are a lot of my ladies, but a lot of them will hide that on social media and like with the people they love because there's stuff they're going through. But that's why they come to me as a coach, because I'll not only coach them to, compete and or go and run a marathon, or some of them do photo shoots and stuff. Some of them just want to be a badass for their lifestyle, but like they need help tapping into that, and that's what I do with helping them become unbreakable. That's why it's called what it's called. Um, so yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question. Again, I didn't go off on too much of a tangent there.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Because so many people, myself included, I think I've not seen anyone really that hasn't struggled unless they're super extroverted. Maybe that would post content right off the bat and be like, okay, like
Yeah.
I don't care what people think. So, you mentioned that's the people you attract now. That's kind of how you go more towards documenting it all. How do you structure your content across the week? Like what, like I know your processes are very free flowing.
Yeah.
It's very like authentic to you.
Yeah.
But how do you decide like this is what I'm gonna post? This is like how do you follow? Because I think there'll be a lot of value for people that are stressing with content here.
I'm giggling because there is no structure. There, right. I have a Google Docs document, right? I think, Plowman, you've even put something together for me before, where it's like a content structure to follow. Do I follow it? Absolutely fucking not. Do I follow it? Because just something happens every day. I'm going to be honest, and that's one of my flaws. I know, like, because the thing is, we're not just coaches. We're marketing, we're sales, we're doing everything, literally everything. Social media. Um, so I find that when it comes to content, like I do actually sit there on a Sunday. This is why I find it hilarious. I sit there on a Sunday. It's all planned out. There's a document with everything planned out for a good couple of months. Do I still stick to it? No, because it gets to 7 o'clock at night. And I'm like, fuck, there's no caption for that. There's an idea, but I haven't made it and there's no caption for it. So I'm going to have to post something. So that's what I mean by like, it's a safe bet and it's more enjoyable by kind of going into something that is your lifestyle. Because if in doubt, and if you're spinning a lot of plates like I am, it's like you can just have something to post. You'll have something that you want to post. And I'm not perfect at it, and it's still something I'm working on. And I definitely, definitely know that for me and like my next step to improving as an online coach is having that shit a bit more organized so that there's stuff kind of sat there um that's automatically going out without me even thinking about it. Is it the meta thing on Facebook where you can put and it links to your Instagram and you've got like it kind of automatically. I've been shown how to use it. Do I use it? Of course I don't, but I know I should.
Yeah,
So that's definitely like my next best step for me. I
yeah,
know that's what I'm working on. But I'm gonna be honest, post show, life shit just hit the fan. Like I'm open about it, and it's not like my dad's gonna listen to this. He'll be fine with me talking about it. But my like they're just family stuff. And my dad was diagnosed with cancer. My granddad's currently got cancer as well, and it's just like the big C's kind of in the family at the moment, and it's been hard to deal with. And I think my head just post show, obviously that's hard to do. Like the post show is harder than the actual prep itself sometimes. So there's been that as well. I thought, you know what, I just need to just post. If I can post, that's a and if we gain clients off the back of that, then amazing. And I'm sure my organization with content will come. And I'm not saying that I'm using those things as an excuse, but I appreciate with myself that my head has been like, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, right, I'm an athlete, and then I've got clients that need looking after, and I want to give them my absolute best. Everything else can just like happen when it happens, kind of thing. Because again, if I'm to teach anyone anything as a coach here, like, forget all of the marketing shit and the sales shit and stuff. I think if you really, really want to become the best coach that you can be, it really does all start with the clients that you've currently got and giving them your best. And then it's kind of like outside of that, because you're giving them your best, you've got better transformations to showcase, and then people are going to trust you more. It takes time, but just I've tried all of the salesy marketing crap, and it's like some of it works, but in my opinion, that's something that I'm kind of like moving away from, because it's personally me documenting, not creating as such, is has been so much more less stressful, and it's been attracting clients. So I'm just going to be me from now on.
Yeah. But yeah, there's actually there's so much value in this because it's so easy. Like you mentioned, there's a couple things. I think one of them is like if you like getting into like full-time online coaching, main gig, you can very easily. I know because I've kind of done it myself that you can kind of turn another job and make it less enjoyable by just working like all
Yeah.
the hours under the sun, but like keeping it like more free, like enjoyable and kind of more like free flowing towards it. That is really powerful. So like from um how did you actually like this is an interesting one. How did you manage? What was the day-to-day processes you were following when you were like 5-6 weeks out of prep, like coming into
I was just
it,
surviving,
yeah.
fine. I was just surviving, but I think because I was ticking the boxes, with all the prep stuff, it was kind of like I did just that. It was kind of like I woke up in the morning, I'm like, right, I'm an athlete, okay? Athlete first, everything else second. And some people that aren't an athlete and you're an online coach, but you like doing fitness for yourself, like, cool, that's fine if you wake up and like your priority is business. Like, I aspire to be the best coach that I can be and to obviously help as many women as I can and get them to stage. But I'm not sat here with like financial target goals and shit. As long as I've got what I need in order to be the absolute best athlete that I can be and to live my life and to travel a little bit, happy days, I'm happy, okay? But like, so if you are someone that aspires to be like, I don't know, a millionaire online coach, then yeah, you need to wake up and be like, right, coaching first, everything else second. Like, I think that's what you have to do and how you have to attack it. See, and the way I'm going with like being an athlete, like and transitioning to wellness, I want to go as far as I can go with this sport. And if there's anyone in it, like listening to this that is into bodybuilding, they know what I mean with that. But yeah, it's like the minute my eyes open, I'm like athlete first, everything else second. And I do even encourage, even as a coach, if you are thinking like, okay, coaching first, everything else second, because that's your baby, that's your business, like that's the thing that you want to go and work towards. You still do need to do something for yourself in the morning before you launch into that, right? Because I think that then gives you energy to be able to go and give to others, like more energy to go and give to others, because you're filling your own cup up first. And it's not selfish; it's necessary. So with myself, I'm waking up and I'm thinking, okay, athlete first, everything else second. So I'll go and do something that's quite nice for myself first, such as like at the minute I'm reading the Scott Stevenson's book, Scott Stevenson's PhD, which is basically a bodybuilding book. But I'll read that because it's good for me to like, even though I know a lot about bodybuilding, I'm always just wanting to get better with research stuff, and I'm a bit of a nerd, so that's something for me in the morning. Like I like that, the candle on, it kind of calms me down because Lauren's got a crazy Plowman knows I've got a crazy mind that runs 1,000 miles an hour. So that just kind of slows me down a little bit. So my brain's kind of most active in the morning. Then I go and do my athlete shit, and then I come back at around about lunchtime. I'm like, right, go time coaching. And towards the back end of prep, so normally right now heading into my off season, I'm in a health phase. I'm still kind of coming on the come down from the prep bit, but at the minute I've got a little bit more energy, so I'm like, okay, cool, I can try and get as much as I can do before 7 o'clock when I switch off. But in prep, if I came home and I felt like I'm flagging and I'm dead, I'd just commit to my clients and I'd say, Plowman, Lauren, like, you guys, you got to do your thing. Like, I'll be here, and if we're booking calls, amazing, I will get them in. Just tell me, and but I think it actually got to a point towards the back end of prep where I said, I don't even care if we don't sign anyone up. If we book calls, amazing, but like, there's no pressure on this because I'm fucking dead. Like, I got nothing. There's nothing here. But there's always May. Like, you want me back in May. But what I really appreciate is the fact that, like, leaning on you guys as a VA service, like, it feels like there's a team there, and that's what I really love about this, because I'm like, it actually makes me, the bit that I need to play, makes me want to show up and do better, because I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to let you guys down, because you guys want to be, booking the calls and stuff, so I need to pull my finger out and do bits as well. But what I appreciated in the back end of my prep is that, like, even though I had nothing, I had no energy, I was kind of like, okay, I just need to be athlete Lauren, commit to clients, and that's it today. I knew you guys were there still kind of sailing the ship. You guys were there still doing the, DMing when I couldn't, and I didn't have a bandwidth for any other human soul. Because my soul had gone, so
Yeah.
DMs were difficult. I can't deal with this right now.
It's actually really it's an interesting like takeaway lesson. Like the more you documented your prep, the more people
Yeah,
were like engaging with it. They're like, oh, that's so inspiring, so motivational.
yeah, 100%. And I think online coaches as well, from time to time, it doesn't have to be that you get absolutely shredded, but maybe it's something that you're working towards, that you document it. So it's a bit like, even though now, because there's a real saying in the bodybuilding industry, because my own coach said this, he was like, when you're in prep, he was like, you need to try and monetize that, like, you need to try and, like, actually use the fact that you are dieting down and stepping on stage as like a marketing point. I was like, okay, I'll just document it as we go then, and it worked. But that's quite easy. I don't know if there's any other, maybe bodybuilding coaches listening to this, or coaches in general that have done like photo shoot preps, and get into your head sometimes thinking, well, fuck, I need to be like trying to be lean all year round and stuff. No, you can still actually like document the other bits of it as well. So like for me, this is really exciting that I'm stepping into wellness now, because I find that, and I don't mean to offend any, if there's any bikini athletes listening to this, look, I've been in it 6 years, okay? I know that it is hard work, but in my opinion, it's kind of like you've got bodybuilding, and then bikini's just kind of like, it's class, like it is within bodybuilding, but it's not like, wellness is a bit more, you train a bit more hardcore, right? Bikini's a bit more like you train hard, for sure. And like I said, I've been in it for a long time. But once you get to a certain level with it, you've got to try and just maintain that level of muscle mass. And I don't want to do that, obviously. I like training like a fucking animal. So I want to continue to do that. So for me, I need to go and step into wellness. But my point is with this is that even though I'm going to be putting on a bit more fluff now in order to build that much tissue that I need for that class, like, I'm documenting it. I decided to do a YouTube because I thought, well, we might as well, try and document as much as we can out of this, make as much content as we can out of this, because it will be educating people along the way that, look, we don't look like that all year round, and it's actually kind of hard to, unless you are, I don't know, maybe you're into CrossFit, or maybe you are more into that side of things, and you kind of can carry a little bit of a leanness side to you, but like a healthy amount of, body fat as well. But you can still kind of see some abs definition. Then good for you. But being an asthmatic, CrossFit is not good for me. So I'm just going to go and be a dinosaur in wellness instead, or a centaur. But I know that I'm going to be getting a bit more chunkier, a bit more fluffy, but I can document that, and it's fine. And I'll be able to lift heavier and feel strong, and who doesn't want to be able to do that? So yeah, I think, like I said before, I think it's really like a lifestyle thing. Like wherever your lifestyle currently is, like document that. And it just makes life so much easier. And then you feel more fulfilled as well, because you're just doing you, you know. And even if you think your life is boring, like literally, I wake up, I go to the gym, I come back, I sit at my laptop. That's it. I do nothing exciting. But it's you that makes it exciting, because people will want to connect with you. And if you are really shit scared of that, then maybe there's a bit more going on, in terms of like maybe you have got a bit of imposter syndrome going on, or you're perhaps not being, who you truly know you can be. And there's maybe a bit of work to do on that. Because I was like that. There's a long time I thought, well, why would I do a YouTube channel? Because no one needs to see my day. I started my YouTube plan with me ironing a t-shirt in my pajamas. Like, that is literally how I started it. I thought, fuck it. Like, I'm not going to pretend. I haven't got time to make myself look crazy, over the top, like, and put on this like fake show. Absolutely not have I got time for that. So don't even try. Like, just be yourself, and whoever doesn't like you won't like you, and whoever does.
Yeah, and then otherwise you might fool some people, but then there'll be the people that you end up like despising
Oh
worse
yeah,
with, like,
you'll hate it. You'll hate
yeah,
it. Yeah, 100%. And then not only that, you start to put on you fall into patterns of like, okay, well, when I'm on social media, I need to pretend to be this thing, this kind of like certain way. And I was really bad with people pleasing at one point. I thought to myself, okay, well, I need to look a certain way. I need to like, and that's why I stayed in bikini for as long as I did, as well, because I thought, oh, I need to stay like this. But it gets exhausting, because you're not truly being you. So
yeah.
yeah.
I also, this might be an interesting um perspective, but I also think from just again purely from my own kind of thing of just posting like content, sometimes as a mindset you can end up, it'll be interesting to see how you find it from like posting content and stuff, but I think you can end up like taking it too personally. Like this content I'm posting is my entire life. If anyone like dislikes it or leaves a bad comment, like they're hating on me. I think sometimes, and it's hard to do, but I think
Yeah.
like almost thinking this is just Lauren's
Yeah.
Instagram
Yeah.
could be a healthier way to post potentially. I don't know how you view content, but I think like looking at it as this is just Instagram. This is
Yeah.
not like,
I think, I mean, I'm going to put this is weird that I'm kind of turning this more into a physique thing, but like, just to kind of give a bit of like, I guess, to dive into that a little bit deeper, because even like from a physique point of view, right? Like, there are people out there that don't like bodybuilding, or women, or like even men, that will look at like past bikini and think, well, that's too much. Why on earth would you want to do that? And actually, one of my clients said to me, I said I was going like, I think I someone asked me about wellness at the beginning of my prep. I was like, no, I'm bikini kind of thing. She went, oh, what's wellness? And I showed her a picture. She was like, "Oh no, not wellness." She was like, "Yeah, I'm glad you're in bikini, and look at me now, I'm doing wellness." But that's because in my mind, I'm like, "Well, that's her opinion. Doesn't want to look like that, and that's fine." And guess what? She probably never will do, because she's lifestyle and hasn't. It's a different mindset to get to those kind of levels. I mean, never say never. She might turn around and really love it and wants to. Cool, I would coach her to do that. But yeah, there's levels to this. Um, but yeah, like, I think it's just understanding it. Like, I think even when in that moment, because I knew in myself I was going to go into wellness eventually, and I think, but I took it so well. I was like, yeah, but that's fine, because that's her. She just doesn't like that, but that's okay. And it's the same, like, you're going to have people on social media that don't like what you do, or don't like. They'll just, yeah. Everyone, I think, has their own perception of like how to go and live life, and like their way of living life. And again, like, you can put that out there on social media, because you're going to attract people that want a bit of that and want to be taught how to be able to live that lifestyle. But it doesn't, not everyone's going to be the same. And that's the thing. You've got to kind of be okay with that. Because like I said, there's going to be plenty of people out there that don't like bodybuilding. And do you know what? I already know I am going to end up having some comments when I go into wellness saying, "Oh, I liked you better when you're in bikini." And I had that this season as well. In the gym, someone said to me, "Oh, you look so much better, like leaner now compared to, earlier on in the year." I was like, "You motherfucker, like to build muscle, like I had to be a little bit fluffy." And I wasn't even that fluffy. I was like, Jesus Christ, but I just thought it was funny, I just thought it was funny. And I think when you have those moments with yourself, that's when you know that you've really grown as a person because you give zero fucks. And again, if I'm going to do another bit of gold on here to anyone listening, not that I think that anything I'll say is gold, but fuck it. But like just giving totally zero fucks about like anyone's opinion is one of the most like priceless things as a human that we can experience, I think, because that allows you to truly authentically be yourself. And I've struggled with that for many, many years until this year, really. But I think you've got to just kind of put like trust and faith in yourself that, okay, I'm just going to 110% be me and put that out there. This will work. I'm probably going to lose friends over this because I'm being me. But you perhaps maybe have like a circle around you at the moment, if you have been putting on a bit of show, that are really truly friends. And you've got to just be okay with that. And the same with like clients, you might change and then have people that drop off, but just be okay with that because it's just that you're changing. And I've noticed that recently with me. I've had a couple, I managed to keep everyone whilst I was on prep. So that was crazy. I was proud of that. I was like, oh my God, we got through that. But now that it's been a bit more bodybuilding, there's been a couple that I've kind of, started to drop off. But rather than freaking out about it, I thought, well, that's okay because they're not really my niche. So that's fine. And there'll be more because I'll keep stepping into being myself, and I'll keep showing up as myself and nothing but, because then that will make my life easier. I'm more fulfilled and I will be attracting more people that are more like me or want to kind of experience and be taught by me. So yeah, Lauren's gone off on tangents again, but
Yeah, and it's yeah. And it's that kind of like, I think, more stable mindset of like, oh, there will be more that comes through that attracts more the
yes,
right people. If you're always like, I need more,
yeah.
you end up pushing people way more. What are your, so now I know you mentioned like the biggest priorities, athlete coaching, that perspective. I would know this because we speak about this, but what are your big business like non-negotiables? What are the tasks each week, each day that you prioritize? You're like, this needs to be done.
Again, I think they've changed, and I'll do my best not to go on a bloody tangent again. But I think so. A few months ago, like when I was kind of a bit, well, obviously I've transferred more into bodybuilding over the past year, but before that, I found it quite difficult because I was so disconnected with my niche. And I think when you're disconnected with your niche, you were a little bit like, probably feel like you take action on some things, but you don't go as hard as you probably could do. And now I've kind of really found my niche. Like I have this like, oh, I just want to get everything done in like one day, and then I have to remind myself Rome wasn't built in a day. So you need to break that down a little bit. So I definitely think things have like shifted. So during prep, like I said, I had to kind of really strip it back to the basics just so I didn't like overcommit too much and completely tire myself out. Whereas now my non-negotiables are, okay, first thing in the morning, like I will do something for myself that's kind of related to athlete first, everyone else second, then myself. And then just before I walk out the door to go to the gym, I'm like, okay, let me just get back to clients. So I'll always kind of make sure that they're like being seen to first, like just messages and stuff. Try not to get too carried away with that because it's easy to fall into the pit of, oh, I'll just do this and I'll just do that, and this client needs this and that, you know. Then so that's definitely a daily thing. I would say at the minute making content is a daily thing, and I hate that. I really hate that it is. It will, I'm promising to myself that, Plowman, you can literally like send me a voice message telling me what am I doing with my life if I don't do this, but it needs to be that turns into like it's kind of done for a whole month kind of thing, and it's just ready to go, and maybe add the odd bit in here and there that's done on the daily to keep things real and raw, Um, but it is content. And then it'll be kind of like calls or definitely DMs and, following women that are within my niche. And that's kind of it at the moment. But I've also been working behind the scenes on like how can I keep on improving the service and stuff. But again, coming out of post show, I'm still kind of getting my head screwed back on my shoulders and trying to navigate like what is going to be the best structure for myself so that things do keep moving forwards. But I'm also not overcommitting and overwhelming myself, because it is very easy to do when you're running your own business. The list just gets longer and longer and longer. It doesn't matter what business you run, coaching, whatever. Like my dad runs an engineering business and I've seen him struggle with exactly the same thing. It's like the list does just get longer and longer and longer. And if you're not careful, you look at that list, you get overwhelmed, and then you stay stagnant. And guess who's been victim to that? This girl, for too long. So that's another thing. Like, I'll get to like a certain client like milestone, and then it's like it sticks at that for a while, and I'm like, oh, why? And it's like, well, you've got overwhelmed again, Lauren. Because you're not pushing as hard as you could do. So I definitely think giving yourself like boundaries is a big thing as well. It's so easy to work past like certain times. Think, oh, I'll just do this and I'll just do that, and then you just get deviated, scatty brain. Nothing gets done and moves forward. So yeah, watch this space, Palm, and I'm gonna get more organised with this shit.
It's more organized, I think, than most people. In terms of, I think the first thing is more just having clear
Yeah,
priorities is a big thing. Like rather than having loads of things, just having, like you say, clients,
yeah,
stuff for yourself, and then actually having like how can you get new clients, and that's
yeah,
basically the all the buckets. There's like three, nothing else really.
yeah, definitely.
Um, so one that I think would be a question people would be wondering here as well is like how what was your thought process like? What was the system in terms of going from like, okay, like Lauren is working at HR, she's doing coaching. At what point was it like, did you have it mapped out like I need to be at this number or I need to be at this client number to go all in? Like was it this big plan, or was it just more like of like I'm getting close now, it doesn't quite feel like it doesn't feel like it would have happened so soon, or like how did you plan that all of that out, because it's a big milestone.
So at the time, I was working with Ben Mark, and he said to me, he was like, "Lauren, leave, just leave, you'll be fine." But I knew within myself, I was like, yeah, but I need to have X amount to be able to afford to compete. 'Cause competing's expensive. It's self-funded, even if you're an amateur, pro, doesn't matter. Like it's such an expensive sport. I thought I really, really need that, and obviously I've got business bills to be paying. I've got obviously life stuff to do. I was like, I can't, and I think I kept fluctuating with like 10 clients. I can't leave yet. I can't leave yet. So I get to like 20. When I get to 20, I'll leave. I get to 20, I'll leave. They got to a point where I was so stressed out. Like I've never ever struggled with acne in my life, ever. And I was that stressed and anxious every damn day that I had cystic acne. Like I had cysts all over my face. It was terrible. There's a picture of it somewhere on Instagram. Knock yourself out. Um, but I was really struggling. Like my skin was bad. Like my hair was falling out. Um, I didn't sleep. I was just so like I don't even know. It was bad. It was so bad. And kind of had this. I was trying to give 100% to my HR job because one of my best friends was the director. So I obviously wanted to do good then. I think how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I never like to do anything half-ass. So I was trying to like commit myself to that job. And I was trying to also commit myself to obviously coaching. And it just got too much. Like I was ill. It was not good. And I think my boss one day just made me. I, I don't know. I got a weird vibe. I think there were shifts going on within the company anyway, and I didn't. I think they needed to make some people redundant. I had this vibe, and I was like, no one was really telling it because it merged with another company basically. And I was like, they know that I'm a coach as well, because I was just transparent with them from the start. 'Cause just again, who I am, I can't like hide shit from people. I'm terrible at lying, so I can't do it. So I just, yeah, I think they knew that I had that, so that was kind of stressing me out. So I think they were trying to force me into a bit of a corner to basically put my hands up and try and leave. So they kind of kept giving me. So what was an HR role that actually was really kind of, I liked it to start with because I actually was in charge of the employer branding. So that was kind of creative. It's not my street, right? Like being an online coach, like I knew a lot about this stuff. So, but then it started to merge more into heavy, heavy business analysis. Now, I'm 24 years old. I had this job when I was 22, 23, just come out of uni, doing sport and exercise science. I know nothing about a massive multi 20 billion pound business and their analysis. Like, I don't have a fucking clue. But business and the way it works, they push people to obviously fill a gap, right? And that's what they were trying to push me to do. But I had no training, nothing. And if I made the tiniest mistake on a spreadsheet, oh my God, I knew about it. Like it was getting really like difficult working environment. So I was just like getting no sleep. I was getting up early. I was trying to train. Josh was like my coach. I was on prep. Like this was all whilst I started prep. Like I was just like, I can't fucking do this anymore. I literally the next day, I just mentally decided. I think I had 11 clients. I thought, if you don't leave now, you're gonna be fucking dead and buried. Like just go, Lauren. Like just go, and you'll figure it out. You know, if you've got to be a waitress again, like fuck it. You know, you're just gonna have to go. So I handed my notice in the very next day because I just was like, yeah, no, this is it now. And ever since then, like it's yeah, things have grown a lot. Obviously now I'm coaching more the ladies that I want to because I've given myself the breathing space to actually step in and go for it. And I think a good friend of mine, George Lewinsky, I actually said to him, because I was terrified of it. I said, George, like, if you're terrified of this not working, like, did you ever experience that? And how did you get through it? And he said, Lauren, honestly, I just told myself this will work. And I think that's the thing. I think if you let that carry you, that this will work, even on a month where it's like, oh, fuck, I've had loads of client drop offs. It's like, no, this will work. This will work. It's been a bit shit this month, but watch this space. I'm going to end up getting, you know, okay, I've lost like 2 clients. I'm going to make 5 clients. Like, you know, and I think having that attitude, um, that will carry you and help you and guide you. And the thing is, worst case scenario, you do just go and get another job if it loads fails, and then you don't quit. You try again and you keep going. And I've had this chat with myself. I was like, look, if I have to become a waitress again, which I wouldn't do by the way, because just no, we're way past that now. I would actually probably go and use my degree a bit more, but I would go and get something else if I had to, and then carry on coaching, and then eventually it would be, you know, where I want it to be. But don't be afraid. I think life is like that. I think we all expect it to be linear, and it's like, oh yeah, clients are here now. I'm going to get to here, and I'm going to get to here, and like this is it. But it's like, don't quit. But if you have to kind of take like different paths to get to where you want to go to with it, that's fine. Like life doesn't have to look a certain way. But yeah, definitely don't quit. I think some of the best coaches, I think it's easy to look at other coaches and think, well, it's easy for them because of X, Y, Z reason, or they've got a big client base or whatever. And if they have a few drop offs, it's okay, kind of thing. It's like, yeah, but they probably still also struggled at the start, you know, to find their feet, to find their niche. And like, that's the shit you don't see. You just see the overnight success, not like the first bit, the struggle bit, you know, the spinning lots of plates bit. It's a fucking wild ride, but it's rewarding when you get there. And I know for damn sure I'm absolutely nowhere like near where I want to be just yet. But we're on the road and like are on the path to doing that. But I have mentally accepted with myself, like even if I was to take a bit of a hit and a load of lifestyles clients fucked off and I was left with just my competitors and I had to maybe get something just to kind of keep building that, like that's okay because I'm still on that path to like, you know, building what I want to with it. So yeah, that's kind of like my thoughts, my mindset towards quitting a job if you're currently in it. Are you scared?
Yeah. It removes a lot of the pressure of it, but yeah, I relate. I remember interpersonal training, my left eye kept twitching. I was like, I've never had that. And it's like, oh, it's the stress
Oh
from
yeah, I had that as well. I was like, why was my eyes always like literally? I felt like I was 24 years old. I was gonna have a heart attack like on the
It's
day.
like
I'd say to mum, I'd be like, I'd say to my mum, like, why do I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack every day? That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. People are like, oh, it's the stress. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. So kind of like piece it together from that. Um, so what have I done differently? Nothing except one thing. Um, okay. Did out of curiosity, so did the people you're working with, HR, did they know? Were they like following you? Did they know your content? Like, did you find
No.
out a bit?
So none of them followed me. The director obviously did. 'Cause she was one of my best friends. I'm a bit like this. I'm 24, but I have many friends that are in their 50s. Like I don't gel with people my age unless there's the same kind of mindset. Like I'm not. Um, so I was a little. So she kind of knew, but she was on board with it and she was okay with it. But the other like people within the team, because they like I knew my best friend knew. I just thought, well, I can be open with them, and like the way that I am as a person, like I'm open, I'm honest, like I've got that kind of like loyalty about myself as well, where I just like it's not within me to kind of um not be like I can't sit there and like hide things because it puts me on edge. I'd rather them kind of know what's going on. Big fucking mistake in the corporate industry. Like they will I remember having a chat with my boss who was kind of so on board with it and thought it was so impressive and everything to start with. And then we had a chat and he was like, just be careful like later in life if you do choose to go down the HR route and you are still doing this. You don't mention it. It's like because here obviously it's quite close knit, like it's a good environment and everything, and like we respect it. He's like, but other businesses, like in this kind of area of work, might use that against you. And little did I know they would do. Later on down the line, a couple of weeks later, it was brought up because I think I was going through. This is when the shitty breakup happened and everything, um, and like, mentally, like that was hard to like. It was difficult to kind of take and process, and there was a lot of other things going on in my life, and that's the reason why it kind of I felt a bit derailed for a bit of time. Um, and they accused my coaching as being the problem of why I was feeling a bit disconnected with work, and it wasn't. It was a whole load of other things, and like the fact that they were shoving me into a different role without really giving me and telling me or having any guidance. So of course, any normal human being's gonna probably feel a little bit on edge and twitchy eye syndrome and all of that because there's so much going on and they've just not there to support. So then kind of shoving you into a corner to be something you're not and something that you're not trained in to do. So, um, but they accused it. They were like, "Oh, we just think your coaching's maybe taken over, so you've got to kind of pick one or the other." And I said to them, I was like, "Okay," so I kind of told them a bit of a white lie that I dropped the coaching, and I never did. Obviously, I carried it on, and that's when it got to a point where with that area of work was just like, so I stepped up massively and kind of like worked on a lot of projects for them and stuff, and then it was getting to a point where I was literally burning the candle at both ends. And yeah, we got cyst faced, and I was like, nah, we gotta go. I was like, oh my god, no, I'm like competing in a few months. These are gotta go. So yeah, just stepped away from it, but
Yeah, I can imagine that's chaos, especially when like coaching was busy. At that point, I remember like
yeah,
tail end of 2023. Coaching's
yes.
busy, bodybuilding's like busy, and it's like it's all into one.
Mhm.
What have you found to be the biggest difference, I guess, from like working in like a normal like 9 to 5 job, you clock in, you clock out, versus now like working for yourself?
I think I'm gonna say freedom. And I don't mean that in a sense of like, and again, I'm going to quote my friend George Lewinsky here because I saw him post this on his story the other day. I think a lot of people think, oh, you can go on the beach and you can kind of have a la-di-da. So it's like, no, you've still got a business to run. You've still got people that are paying you to be their coach and to get them a result. But I think from like a for me as a bodybuilder, there's a reason why a lot of bodybuilders are coaches or do have their own business because it allows them like living the bodybuilding lifestyle. It is you can do the lifestyle of bodybuilding, but to actually go and do the competitive bit, like it does it does require a lot. Like if you're to do it like there's competing and then there's competing. Like if you're wanting to be one of the best in the world, for example, like you're an athlete, like there's a lot that you've got to commit to that. So with myself, like I do put a lot into it, and it's just allowed me to kind of pick when I go to the gym, choose when I switch off, and I can switch off. I mean, it's quite difficult to switch off. Like anyone that runs a business will find it hard to switch off. Like Pam, and you send me messages late at night, and I'm like, no, go away. Like I'm trying to switch. Don't worry, I just put you on mute and then I message the next day. Um, but like it is, I found that really difficult to actually 7 o'clock at night be like, okay, you should probably switch off now and like try and wind down for bed and get to bed because then you're up at like 5. But I think the biggest difference, yeah, it's been like I get to choose my schedule more than anything, but I think you've got to be and understand that it's, even though that sounds nice, it can be quite difficult because it's easy to kind of almost be a bit like, oh, I've got all this free time, and actually, no, you don't. You do need to try and have some level of structure to it. So yeah, but no, I definitely think freedom more than anything, really. Like your own time structure.
Yeah, amazing. I think
I
it's
give
it's
long-winded answers, don't I? I'm so sorry.
yeah, no, more for sure. Yeah, I think it's really interesting because like so many people get into it. Like I know myself, you get into it and you're like, oh, like you get all the time in the world, and if you're not careful, you just like do it what I do, and you just kind of work through like very late, and it's like wake up early, and it's all like it's all kind of blends into one. It's like
I
you kind
find
of
it,
need that.
I ask myself these questions though.
Yeah,
If I'm working till late at night, because it's so easily done, and I think we get into our heads as business owners thinking, okay, well, we should work till late at night, or we should, and then we should get up really early, and like, I'll sleep when I'm dead kind of mental. I've had that before, and it's so bad. Sorry, my stomach's rumbling. I don't know why. I've already eaten. We're not on prep anymore. Stop. Um, but yeah, I've had that mentality before, and I work it like I don't care what time I go to bed. Like I'm still gonna get up early and all that jazz. But I think if you're going about it in that way, it's like you're not being productive in the day because there's no way, there's very few people on this planet that can do that. And I could when I was younger, when I was at university, but now, like with the way, because the thing is, like the way I look at it with like university, I've had to tell myself this and be really hard on myself about it. But like university, there was an ending, right? It was kind of like, okay, well, once I get to this point, the exams are done, the term's done, it's done. With business, it's constant. There is no finish point. So you will run yourself into the ground if you're not careful. And it's not just you that's responsible for this. It's like you've got clients, you've perhaps maybe got a team of people, So I think it's good to kind of identify where you best work and stick to that. So like I said a bit earlier on, like athlete first, everything else second for me. Because if I leave my gym session till a little bit later, it's going to be shit. Like I know I don't train very well towards the end of the day. Um, Whereas if it's more in the morning, I get the best out of my training. Which then, if I know I've ticked that box, I've then got more energy to then give to like my clients a little bit later on, be on calls, be on this podcast. Like the reason why I'm sat here, I don't know if you're going to put this on the with my
yeah,
face on, but I look like a poodle right now because I've literally just trained legs. So I just threw a hairbrush through my hair. And don't normally look like this, but anyway, hey, being authentically myself. Um, so yeah, I completely forgot where I was going with this because I got distracted by my crazy wild hair. Um, but I think we were talking about just like I think I was going off with like the
yeah,
dangers of like structure and everything and stuff. Maybe we spoke about
yeah, yeah. Yeah, for
got
sure. Because yeah, like I agree so much because like you have that like when you're like and it's like something that I find hard as well. It's like if you're like I'm just gonna work all the hours in the sun,
yeah,
like you say, you like there's literally no way you're doing anything productive working more than
yes,
like
that's
I
what
don't
I
know
was going
5 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Honestly, I get so
yeah,
sidetracked. I'm like, what was I talking about again? Yeah, no, 100%. I think you've got to be strict with yourself and be like, okay, well, but where are you perhaps not being productive? And identify when you start to lose that productivity as well. Like with me, I know 3 o'clock, start scrolling Instagram. And I'm like, what are you doing? Don't be out. So I've started blocking it, like putting like a thing on so I can't actually go on it. Um, and I'll do something else that needs doing, and just get it done. And then that way I know that as I'm getting closer to 6 o'clock, I'll quickly go in and message clients again. And then like 7 o'clock, even if they've messaged me, it waits till tomorrow now. Because otherwise you're like, I'll just do this one last little bit, and then before you know it's 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Oh shit, why is my coach yelling at me that I've only got like 5 hours sleep? Josh doesn't actually yell at me, but he will tell me on my check-ins like, Lauren, come on now. So yeah, you got
Yeah.
to look after yourself, otherwise there is no business.
Yeah, and then that's where you become like too emotional and you make
Yes.
like stupid decisions. Where I think,
I've been there so many times.
um, last few here. So like in terms of one that would be an interesting one would be like we've been working together for close to a year off the top of my head, which
It's
is
been even more than that. I think
wow.
I think we started working together because I met you through Ben, so I think we started working together. Yeah, no, it has been nearly a year. Yeah, no, it has. I thought it'd been longer than that because we were, and then I had a mental breakdown coming out of HR, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. So then I think I kind of just stopped working with anyone for a little bit, and I was like, okay, now I need to actually build this thing, and I realized the value of like having you there and a VA there because I haven't got always the time, the bandwidth to be in the messengers and getting back to people, connecting with people. Like it's a lot. So yeah, and it's been like I my ladies say with me, I'd rather sell my skybox than quit coaching, and I'm very much the same with your services. I'm like, well, I would rather sell my skybox than not have your support there. So there you go.
That's that's amazing. From an analogy perspective, that's the best.
Can't like kick it away. We don't need that shit. We need a VA just to keep me
Yeah.
sane.
Um, what's been your biggest takeaway from it? Like I know they can sometimes be, and I think this could be interesting. Like I think sometimes there could be a bit of a stigma in terms of like, oh, like they'll be too robotic or like this, like there'll be stuff wrong with it. Like it'll just
Definitely not robotic. Yeah, definitely not. Honestly, I go into my DMs and I forget whether it's me. I mean, it's quite funny that my VA, I don't know if she listens to this, but like her name's Lauren, so I'm literally like, this is great. There's two Laurens, but either way, like whoever I've had, I've genuinely, I've gone in and I'm like, wait, did I send that or was my VA sent that? You know, that's what's amazing about it. Is that yeah, it's there's definitely not robotic. I can understand why people might have that fear. I think another reason why I worked with you as well is because I've heard from other coaches that have got say VAs that are on the cheap that are from other countries around the world, and and they're paying them kind of like cheap and training them up. I get that, but I haven't got time to train anyone up. So it's been really nice to kind of, be working with you and your team of VAs to kind of just say like, hey, this is me, this is my business. And what I loved about it as well is that I could, you know, like going back to like what I was saying earlier about it being like a team, is that I felt that I could, send you a Loom video, like a bit of a walkthrough, like this is my brand, this is my business. I mean, hey, plan there's gonna be another one because we've got branding's changing again. So you and Lauren are going to be prepared to get a probably 10-minute video. It's probably really going to be 20 minutes of me talking through things. You rolling your eyes because I just talk fucking England. But yeah, like I think it's nice that I feel like I've actually really got a team where I was like, I already know if I was to have someone that's not really actually been trained in this before or like knows what they're doing with it, it would take more time trying to train them up. And like, just I haven't got that as an athlete and a business owner and a coach. It's kind of really you are. I am those three things. I'm not just a coach. I'm trying to build business as well, and then there's being the athlete side of things, and there's all sorts of other shit that goes on in life. It's like I haven't got time to sit that hours on end trying to train someone. So that's been another really big thing as well. But genuinely, I open the DMs and I'm like, did I send this or did Lauren send this? Don't know.
yeah. If people think you're referring yourself to third person, that
Oh
might be
no,
an
yeah, no,
issue.
I'm not. Like this is all the Lauren. This is
Yeah. Could be cool.
I think I actually once put in our group chat um, something about I think it was something, oh, I've sent a message or whatever to so and so, and I've done this or whatever. And then I was like, when did I do that? And I thought about it, I was like, no, you didn't. This was Lauren. And I thought, oh, I've probably just really confused her now because she's going to know. And another thing I really like as well, actually, I am shit at tracking things. Like, in terms of like business stuff as a whole, pretty good. And like myself as a coach and an athlete and like all of that stuff, like, yeah. But when it comes to actually like DM tracking stuff, that how many times, Plowman, have I not looked at that bloody thing? But you guys are like, look, it's there. And that's another thing that now I'm post show, I want to be a bit more active on. But like, I know with confidence though, even if I don't look at it, I know you guys are doing like the absolute best, and I'll make Lauren damn sure, like well aware of it that she's doing a good job because she really is. And that's what I mean. It feels like a team, and that's what I really like about this. And also I really love as well since we started working together, like your weekly webinars that you do as well, and like the people that you've had on, like obviously that's super valuable. Like it's just so much more than just having a VA, it genuinely feels like I feel like I'm being held accountable. I feel like I need to step up and do better. I feel like you actually give a shit about my business, and it growing. And yeah, did I say a team of people behind me is one of them? Maybe I did already,
Yes.
but
Amazing.
so yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Really cool to kind of like hear your perspective with it. With your, I guess one thing here as well is like you kind of reached out and we first had a call. Maybe I could find a Calendly booking somewhere, but like it was around when you were still working at HR, so you're still balancing both. Um, how did you find it? Because like a lot of people would typically be like, do it when you've got a big business, you've got the time to train someone up, but like it's a
Oh,
lot to manage, I find.
I'm gonna be honest here, and I had these thoughts again recently. Like you've got to. I think it's quite easy to think, oh, I'll do that when I've got X amount of clients. I'll do that when I've got X amount of money in the bank, so that I've got like a safety net. And it's like I definitely built myself a bit of safety net, and I've still got like a very, very good safety net now. Like even if everything was to go tits up, and I do strongly believe that's a sensible move to do that. But talking to people that are in a situation where they're in a job and it's like they're rumming and ironing, they're kind of like waiting for that. I think like life is to be lived, and we're really actually not here for a very long time. And if you're not taking risks and going for like what you want, like what are you actually living for? Like, you know? And I think I thought to myself, like, right, I have X amount in the bank, which by the way, at the time wasn't really a heck of a lot because I stupidly, not to get into my past relationship again, but gave my ex a lot of money because he was broke. So I was kind of recovering from that a little bit. Um, I never got it back. Never ever got it back. So I was recovering from that. I was trying to save. I kind of had, I was had the pressure of like I know obviously I want to be a good athlete and to be a good bodybuilder, like you can't just have a fucking good physique. You got to be good with your finances so you can compete and do all the other, buy everything else that you need to for it. But yeah, I just sat there. I was like, right, I've got X amount in my savings account. I've invested some into a business mentor slash mindset coach to help me untangle all of this mess. I was like, what are you doing with the rest of it? And I was like, okay, right. If I have like X amount here as a bit of a cushion in case, things go tits up. And then I've got that, right, let's just invest into a VA because you have not got the time. You need to outsource it. You haven't got the time to be in the DMs all the time. So you need someone there helping you do that. And thank fuck I did. And I did not have to sell the skybox. I was okay. I made a good decision. But I think if you've got it, and like it goes back to what we were saying earlier, like even if you have barely anything and you've committed to it and you put the belief in yourself and you're believing in your business and your brand and you're just going for it and you've put money into it, even if you do come away and you've had a bit of a shitter and it's kind of all gone to shit, like you can still go back into another job and be absolutely. You know, if worst case scenario might not be something you like and enjoy, but sometimes you've got to go back to like move forwards or give you a bit of a kick up the bum to kind of go back and do better. You know, to put things just to kind of like, I know we're talking like the ages, I don't know how long your podcast being part of, but I don't know if this is helping someone, but amazing. But like with myself, I came out of university, I started coaching. I did very, very well in my first month. I think I had a 3K month my first month. But it blew my brain because again, I had a lot of knowledge, but no idea how to coach. So I freaked out a little bit. So I kind of thought, well, I don't want to take anyone else on because I want to kind of understand how to do this. So I actually took back my Pizza Express job on top of coaching at 20 years old, 21 years old. So balancing that and coaching. Bit of a bad move. Probably should have just kind of trusted myself a bit more. But again, the relationship wasn't. I didn't believe in myself. It was a shit time. And then it kind of like I dropped that, went back into coaching in 2022. Still wasn't quite my niche. Still wasn't quite hitting it. I was freaking out again, and shit was getting even worse with that relationship. So I thought, fuck, what do I do? I got to HR. So if you see what I mean, there's been a lot of back and forth, but I kept going. And it's okay. Like I think we get into our head that we have to, like, life has to look a certain way, and we have to have certain things at certain timings, and it's got to, oh, I should, you know. But as long as you don't quit and you keep going, you keep evolving, you will get to where you want to get to, you know. And now I'm sat here, and I know with full confidence that like my client base will keep growing. Sure, it might drop a little bit from time to time, but it will keep growing because I'm truly being myself now. I know my niche now. I know I probably won't have to. I mean, I'm touching wood and crossing everything, but I'm not going to have to go into anything that I don't want to. But I'm prepared to if I have to because I've been there before. But every time we've kept, it's like a staircase. We keep on going. So yeah. Gotta go off on some tangents, but I just feel like this is like my experience, and you know, I want to share that in case it helps anyone.
Amazing. What would you, so just to, I guess, wrap up here on that, what would you say has been kind of your big lesson, your biggest lesson from this journey so far, like from the last, I guess, from that Pizza Express point of view to where you are now, the HR transitioning from that and again to this point?
My biggest lesson, sorry.
Yeah.
My biggest lesson, honestly, like I keep saying, don't quit, just keep going. Just keep going because eventually I think I'm a massive believer if you give everything to something and to a goal that you have, eventually it will pay off. It might not be the first month, it might not be the first year, might not be the first 2, 3, 4 years, but eventually it will pay off. You know, it's the same with me with bodybuilding. Like, I've been competing now in bikini for 6 years, and the goal this season is to get my pro card in it because that makes you a pro in all divisions, not just that category. I thought, cool, we can do that. I can disappear for 2 years, and then I can come back and go into wellness. Um, we didn't quite get that, but I know that I will eventually. It's a matter of timing. I can get it in wellness. Um, because that's where I'm meant to be. But like you keep evolving, and it, like if you quit, you're I think massively holding yourself back, and you're not really fulfilling your potential, right? So like from a business point of view with myself, I'm like, okay, there's going to be some real highs, there's going to be some real lows, but just don't quit. And like I said just before this on my previous tangent about like if it does mean even if you go through an absolute shitstorm and you have to go and get another job, don't quit the coaching. It's not the coaching's fault. It's not you that you're not a good coach or that you're not meant for coaching. It's perhaps maybe you just need to step away from it to gain a bit more clarity and be like, okay, maybe this is who my ideal client is. This is what I need to, and then just really step into that. And I already know with myself, I'm not going to be a coach forever. I've got plans for after this. But this is like a stepping stone for me to get to that place so that, because I definitely know now I'm not built for working for others. I can't do it. I mean, never say never, unless it's something to do with sport and exercise science I'm actually interested in. But if it's anything to do with like HR or corporate crap, absolutely not. I'm out of there.
Yeah.
See you later.
Amazing. Um, where can people find you so people want to like tune into the journey, uh, watch
Yeah,
your
I mean,
content?
a bit omnipresent at the moment. So you definitely won't find me on TikTok. I know that's a really good place where people, put their content stuff, but I try and avoid that one. If I'm honest, I don't like TikTok, but I am on Instagram, Lauren Dexter one. I'm also now on YouTube. I think I'm just under Lauren Dexter. Good luck trying to find it, but it's there. We launched it yesterday. And then I also have a podcast, Life Path One, as well on Spotify. But in terms of like contacting wise, Lauren Dexter One on Instagram is the best place to go. And it could be me that you're talking to, could be Lauren the VA you're talking to. But either way, you're getting a Lauren. So
Amazing. So yeah, anyone, I guess that could be people. I know there's a few people listening that are more bodybuilding inclined. So I mean, it could be a um, really good kind of like thing of seeing like your perspective, which is
yeah.
different to the traditional lifestyle coaching. But Lauren, thank you so much for joining today. There's
I've
been so
loved
much
it.
value.
I mean, I must have loved it because I've been sat here for 1 hour 20 talking. I am
Yeah.
so sorry, but hopefully
No, that's perfect for
people
you.
have
Like it
listened
was.
to this and have taken something away. But I thought England, like,
It's it's me asking loads of questions. It's also like 5 minutes longer than our longest podcast yet. So
oh,
that's a win.
oh, did I beat a record?
Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
1:15 was the longest.
that's why. That was the real reason. I'm ever beating records.
Amazing.